What's going on, people? This is your boy, man, Mike, coming at you guys with yet another Atlanta Falcons video training camp. I told you guys we're in full mid-season season form. Excuse me. This is one hell of a start for me. I'm super excited. So if y'all see a bunch of videos, me inboxing you, messaging you, a ton of videos, you already know why. Your boy, man, Mike is in mid-season form. It's been pretty freaking good. 1 second. Um, so excuse me for that second. Had to take care of a little bit of business, but um, the NFL season is here. Some pretty interesting things have been happening already. Uh, with the Atlanta Falcons training camp, a lot of people are already kind of panicking. I'm already seeing a bunch of idiotic things. It's just Falcons fans, so get ready for the bullshit. Get ready for the fucking crybabies. Get ready for a ton of people that's gonna sit up here and whine and cry because they're not getting anything, and they want to talk about everything that's going wrong first and foremost. All right, and quite frankly, let's just be honest, man. They really could care less about what's actually going good for the Atlanta Falcons. But this is why Atlanta Falcons Nation exists. Never fear, Atlanta Falcons Nation is here. Yeah. The heavy hitters. Again, the post-game live of every Atlanta Falcons game will be on. It will go back to the old format of being on Mad Mike Sports, Atlanta Falcons Nation, obviously, but 6-man K Styles and Jew Talk Sports. So that is back. We will have post-game reviews of the game on the heavy hitters. We're gonna post our game takes from not only for myself but 6-man K Style, our individual takes outside of the post-game reaction, so stay tuned for that. AFN Teacher Student the Educator Fund. If you have not already, you don't know, and now you know. Any $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, anything will go to help these educators. All right, so you can cash app us at either Mad Mike Sports or Atlanta Falcons Nation. We truly appreciate it. We also have another something new to the platform and new to this scheme this year. It's Challenge AFN with your fastest stats and the truth. This in particular, we're going to give everybody the opportunity to do what? To showcase their skills. Like if you are an up and coming, or you want to become a content creator and you have no idea on how to begin, well, this is your shot. All right, you can hit me up for a price of $20, $10. I'll give you, if you really serious about it. If you really serious about it, we're talking about $20 to sit down and have a conversation with me, and I would guide you guys through every because I've been doing this for damn near almost a decade. So want to guide you through on what to expect, how to do certain things, the tools, everything it takes to be a content creator. Your boy Matt Mike will help guide you through that. Also, like I said, the Challenge AFN. If you guys have not already, all right, We used to call it the 5 seconds of fame. Now it's challenge AFN with your facts, stats, and the truth. So that's what's new. Let's get straight to the absolute news for the Atlanta Falcons. I think, where should I start? I'm going to start with this one. All right. So Joe Patrick says that Kirk Cousins hit Ray McLeod on a 50-yard touchdown on a go route. The ball traveled from a hash, for 42-yard line, the opposite side. All this unnecessary talk. But look, I hate when journalists try to be extra fucking detailed. Like, he threw the damn ball 50 fucking yards. Okay, that's all we got to know about it. 50-yard touchdown. We got to know. Oh, he was on this hash mark and that side. Like, all that extra damn details. Like, I don't want to hear all that shit. But Joe Patrick, looking at this, man, I think when you look at the Atlanta Falcons, man, and where this team is at the moment, I really enjoy and I really like that already in the process, we're getting our money's worth. I think that's the biggest thing out of us, that we're getting our money's worth. We're finally getting our money's worth for our quarterback. And a lot of times last year with the quarterback position, did we have some pretty good games where we did, in fact, get a couple of big plays, out of Desmond Ridder, as well as Taylor Heineke in some spots. So, we made him free plays, but now to have a quarterback and, he still has some issues, still has some certain things that he's still trying to, working out. It's finally good to see that our quarterback is making big plays, and we're making big plays. The biggest thing I like about the best thing I like about this is that he's throwing to a guy like Ray McLeod. That's what we're talking about. Because last year, we made big plays with the guys that were, for the most part, the guys that were the stars, but we're making plays with guys that you wouldn't necessarily think they're stars. So Raymond McLeod is already getting, I think it was a pass over Clark Phillips, if I'm not mistaken. He got behind Clark Phillips and made a few plays, but you see also there was a bot snap from Michael Penix, and it was fumbled, recovered by Taquan Grind. The first thing that's going right for the defense today. It's always good to see our young quarterbacks making mistakes. I like to see that. Again, I talked about this yesterday. When I see our young quarterbacks make mistakes in training camp, these are the things that he needs to go through. He has to go through these growth pains. So if we can see interceptions, I'm going to be honest. I want to see interceptions for Michael Penix. I want to see fumbles. I want to see him make mistakes in training camp, because that'll give me a greater appreciation or a greater idea of how he's going to rebound and bounce back for those bad mistakes. That's what you know when you have a pretty good player, is how he bounced back for those mistakes and how he, etched those games out of his mind. So I'm glad to see that. Obviously, Taquan Graham. I know a lot of people looking at Taquan Graham as possibly one of those guys that's going to be out as a Atlanta Falcons, but we'll see. Taquan Graham, he's still a hell of a player. See what he's gonna be like. But again, I like to see the big plays from Kirk Cousins. I like to see the mistakes from Michael Penix and how he bounces back for it. I got some stats coming with a back shoulder bullet to Rondale Moore, another wide receiver. Okay, another wide receiver that a lot of these Atlanta Falcons fans are not focusing on. Again, Michael Penix, he taking some with the threes, the fours, and it's nice to see that Michael Penix is making those plays, and he's going up against guys like AJ Terrell. So, like I said, Michael Penix has always been very good at throwing those back shoulder fades and putting it in a spot where the wide receiver can make those plays. So, Rondale Moore beat AJ Terrell on the 3rd and 5. Penix and the third team offense moved the chains against the first team defense. And again, we're still talking about the defense. Another thing, Raheem Morris just went up to Drake London. He said he went up to Drake London and was walking him through some technique with a shake on an out route. And Morris is still tapping into his background. He's just tapping in. He pretty much, if you guys did not know, he was the wide receiver coach for the Atlanta Falcons, and then he was worked on the offensive side of the ball with the Rams. So this guy definitely knows what he's doing. Mike Hughes and Richie Grant are still the starters at cornerback 2 and safety, respectively. So a lot of people are looking and thinking that Mike Hughes may not be a starting corner for the Atlanta Falcons, but the Falcons are giving him every opportunity to make this team. He's giving them every opportunity to play within this defense. So Clark Phillips, Mike Hughes, AJ Terrell, the defense is not looking as well as we thought they would look early on, but a lot of people are expecting the defense to come out and just be, right off the bat, they'll be pretty freaking good, but that's not necessarily how this football works. Defense in training camp, these guys have not done a lot of things. Everybody's just getting loose, man. For the most part, you got a quarterback as good as Kirk Cousins, and defense, that's they haven't been together long, but these guys are indeed they're indeed telling. So look at the numbers for Kirk Cousins. In this particular training camp, he was 15-16. He only missed one. Okay, Kirk Cousins. I talked about that in that video with Kirk Cousins and how his completion percentage has been over 65% 6 years straight in the NFL. So this guy is a completion machine. When you miss that with a guy like Matt Ryan, he knows how to get the ball into the right hands. And this is exactly what we're going to get from Kirk Cousins. Consistent quarterback to get the ball out of his hand and get the ball into the playmakers. That's Kirk Cousins, again, 15-16. And Michael Penix, 8 of 13, 3 of his incompletions were perfectly placed, and wide receivers dropped it. So look, talk about these things, the chemistry, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th receivers. When these guys, when these guys make these mistakes, is it really a direct representation the offense concerned? No, I think it all comes down to getting chemistry. A lot of these wide receivers have not. They're just getting warmed up. They're getting into to regular season mode. So I'm cool with what I'm seeing with the Atlanta Falcons quarterbacks right now. I've heard nothing but good things from them. Drake London did leave the field with an undisclosed injury. Josh Kendall said he left the field with a trainer doing special teams portion of practice. Doesn't seem serious, but he's been talking to the trainer for a few minutes and doesn't seem 100% right. But like I said, I don't think it's nothing to kind of get too ahead of. Like I said, you got Mike Hughes, Richie Grant. Both of those guys are fighting it out for that number 2 corner back position. It's Mike Hughes, but Richie is still kind of fighting it out for that free safety role on the Atlanta Falcons. And again, the defense for the most part. This is what I'm going to get in, and then I'll get into you guys I'll get into you guys' questions, but I've seen quite a few comments in regards to the Atlanta Falcons defense being slow. The question that I have for you guys is, what the hell do you expect? That's what I really want to know. Like, what in the hell do you expect? We're talking about what, day 2, day 3 of training camp. Okay, what do you guys expect from this Atlanta Falcons defense at training camp? You really can't hit the quarterback. You can't really hit anybody. So what do we expect from this Atlanta Falcons defense? What do you guys expect before I give my take on what the Atlanta Falcons defense should look like in training camp? Okay, that's the one thing that I really want to know what you guys think. Get into the Nicholas Harvard was good. Georgia Texas boy Jay Diaz. Corey Gear was good. Melvin Emery. Channel Key, what's going on? So far, I'm only worried about wide receivers and cornerback depth. The Falcons' depth at quarterback is not bad. Like, I don't. One thing I always say about this in the league, like, there's no such thing as having depth at cornerback. Like, there's no such thing as having depth at quarterback. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. There's no real reason to worry about cornerback depth, and there's really no such thing as depth. Most teams don't have one good corner. Okay? And that's the thing we have to understand. Most teams do not have a single corner that can cover everybody. Most teams don't have that. So we have one guy that can cover everything. He can play man, he can play zone, he can play man zone, he can blitz, he can tackle, he can do all these things. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. Most teams do not have a AJ Terrell. Most teams do not have guys that can cover every wide receiver, and it doesn't matter the type, the physical nature. Like, it does not matter. So me personally, I'm not worried about this Atlanta Falcons depth at corner, because again, most teams don't have one cornerback. So I understand that a lot of people are probably, looking at this Atlanta Falcons team and probably saying to themselves, like, Mike Hughes, you got a guy like King, I think his name Kevin King. He's a guy that's had some starting. He had quite a few starting starter reps, so you kind of keep a close eye on him. D. Alford is another guy. Clark Phillips. Like, these guys are really talented, but like I said, most teams in the NFL don't have one good corner. So as far as the Atlanta Falcons depth, they already ahead of damn near 50% of the NFL. 50% of the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons are already ahead of them, because not only do you have AJ Terrell, but you got in my opinion, you guys have not seen the live with 6-man K-Styles where we talked about Jesse Bates, but most teams don't even have a Jesse Bates who can give you 5 interceptions in a season. So as far as the corner is concerned, I think, people be so, like, not to say this is your thought, Jay, but like, most people always think just because, it's like, if you have one guy, you're going to be able to stop everybody else. Like, that's why you need a multitude of things. You need good linebackers. You need a good pass rush, because again, most teams don't have that one good corner, and the Atlanta Falcons have 2 good guys in the secondary that are extremely good. So I'm not worried about it. Falcons are good. Taquan Graham is back as his natural position. I mean, he was in his natural position, but Taquan Graham is like, he's another one of those guys that need to step up his game. He's been in his natural position. The problem is he hasn't been consistent. It's all about consistency, man. You can't have one good game and then five okay games back to back. And this is what separates the Grady Jarrett's and the best players. Is that most of these guys only have most of these guys only have one good. They only have one good freaking. They have a couple of games and then they tail off. So Taquan Grant has to be a lot more consistent, and he's gonna have to get it done now because guess what? He got a lot of competition at that position right now. He said, "I like it for Hughes King to get back to their college production, drafted by Minnesota, blah blah blah." Yeah, like I said, man, I'm not worried about corner. Like I said, most teams in the NFL don't even have one good corner, yet alone, that in my opinion. And I can actually prove this by putting up a bunch of rosters, and that's something that I may do. But if you look at most teams in the NFL, most teams don't have one elite corner. We already have an elite corner or a very good corner in AJ Terrell. So, like I said, I'm not concerned as long as we get after the quarterback, as long as we run the ball well, keep our team, our defense straight, we'll be good. Um, I expect nothing but the offense shining until the pass. Hey, look, I don't really take practice. I really don't take practice too seriously, to be honest. One thing that I am focused on is obviously getting through training camp without getting hurt and injuries. But two, I just want to see how the quarterbacks and their chemistry are in the passing game, and the cornerbacks, their ability to stay with wide receivers. Because, like I said, you stay with wide receivers, you have more opportunity to get the interceptions and whatnot. So I'm not, Maurice, what's going? I'm not concerned too much about what's going on in training camp. Just get through training camp without a lot of injuries, and we'll be good. The reason I say depth is because if guys get hurt, I mean, again, most teams don't have one good corner. If you can tell me how many teams in the NFL, even you can look at look, answer this question. I want a couple of people to answer this question. How many teams and how many elite defenses has damn near two Pro Bowl corners? How many teams in the NFL do you know that has two Pro Bowl corners? We've been brainwashed a lot of times to think that every team's supposed to have two legit corners. And if you look at the reality of it, most teams only have one good corner. And what happens is it makes the defense and the secondary look so much better because you have one very good corner to Pro Bowl corner, but the second corner is a recipient of a lot of double teams, safety shades. So all they would do is just rotate the coverage to the bad corner, or they'll put a linebacker underneath or inside or outside, depending on what that second corner's weaknesses are. They'll cover those up, but we can get past having a corner that isn't great. Because like I said, you can double them. You can double the guy that who comes. You can double and you can shade guys. To play. Philly did not have two elite corners. I don't know what you talking about. Dallas damn sure didn't have two corners, and the Jets did not have two elite corners. You have two elite corners. No, we talking about Pro Bowls, like Pro Bowls. Bradbury is not an elite corner, and Darius Diggs and Bland, nah, those not elite corners. Those are not. They're not very good corners. These guys are corners that benefit off of having a pass rush. Okay, there's a between being an elite corner a Pro Bowl corner, and you benefiting off of your defense. All those teams that you just, all those teams, all those teams that you just stated that they had good corners, all of them had sacks over 45. All three of those teams had sacks over 45. So are those guys really elite? The Philadelphia Eagles, I think they led the league in sacks. So a lot of times those corners did not have to cover a while. Yeah, Darius Slay is Ramsey and White. Nah, those are not elite corners. Ramsey got his ass tore up, and that's why he got traded. That's why he ended up going. A lot of these guys get Pro Bowls off a team. I'm talking like, look, let me explain something too. Just because you make it to the Pro Bowl doesn't actually mean that you're an elite corner or you're a very good corner. A lot of times, especially now, or we just talked about the top 100. These motherfuckers literally said with a straight face that what was his name? I can't even remember the damn guy's name right now. But let me get his name because I really Jordan Poyer. They said with a straight face that Jordan Poyer was better than Jesse Bates. These guys said Jordan Poyer is better than Jesse Bates. In no way, shape, or form, statistically or even skill-wise, that Jesse Bates is inferior to a Jordan Poyer. Are you fucking kidding me? A lot of these corners, including guys like Diggs benefited from what? The dude gave up a historic number of passing yards, but he was ranked as a top corner because he got a bunch of interceptions. And a lot of that had to do with that the Dallas Cowboys had an incredible pass rush. These guys got damn near 50 sacks in a season. 50 sacks. They averaged damn near 45 sacks a season. So just because you go to a Pro Bowl doesn't actually mean you guys. And a lot of times those corners don't have two corners that go to the Pro Bowl because they had two excellent seasons. Look, again, I don't care nothing about no consistent. We're talking about actually skill set. They don't depend on Jordan Poyer to be one of the main sources of their defense. They depend on that front seven to be a main source of the defense. I think people just because you play on good teams, everybody automatically assume that you're a great player. Jesse Bates has played on good teams and bad defenses. And he's been consistent no matter what the defense is. That's how you can tell when you got a good player. If no matter what the defense, where you have a pass rush, because the Atlanta Falcons missed Grady Jarrett and Jesse Bates still played well. If you look at the team that Jordan Poyer plays, all these guys have damn good front sevens, and they get after the quarterback. So can we really tell how good Jordan Poyer is if he doesn't play with a team that doesn't have a front seven? Now, if you want to say that Jordan Poyer is a consistent guy, if you have a front seven, then I agree. We don't know what he is. We have a pretty good idea of what he is. Jordan Poyer, if you look at what he is, he's nothing more than a tackling machine at safety. That doesn't mean you're the best safety in the league, because he's not. That's why he's been on 3-4 teams already. So, like I said, there's a lot of misconceptions when we talk about what good corners at, and guys actually making Pro Bowls in the same year, back to back to back. Anybody can have one good year and say, "Oh, I'm a Pro Bowler." Why? Because your team, and again, we see this time and time again, where they double up on a lot of players because they give a lot of praise to one team. We see this time and time again. It's always been the structure when you talk about Pro Bowls anyway, and these teams is that if you have a good team or you have a high top five ranked defense, even if that player, even if a player has good numbers, and then another player from a team has the same numbers that you have, they're going to give it to the team that actually won more games or they're ranked higher. They're not going to give the award or the Pro Bowl selection to a team with a corner who had the same amount of stats but had a losing record or around 500 record. They're going to give it to a team like the San Francisco 49ers that had 13 and 14 wins in a season. Why? Because it's all popularity. It had nothing to do with how good. It has very little to do, I should say, with how good that corner is and what he had to endure even to have that type of season. Because we, again, without a Grady Jarrett and without a Grady Jarrett, Jesse Bates was still doing Jesse Bates things. With a Grady Jarrett, he was doing Jesse Bates things. We don't know what a Jordan Poyer. As a matter of fact, that's not true. We seen what Jordan Poyer did with Buffalo. Nobody say that Jordan Poyer that we was gonna. Nobody would say that the best player in that Buffalo Bills. Nobody would say that. If AJ Terrell goes down, if AJ Terrell goes down, or Clark has to step up, the guys behind him do too. No, you don't got to worry about that. Y'all be worried about the wrong things, man. Y'all worry about the wrong things. Y'all worry about the wrong things. We worried about if somebody go down. Again, how many teams in the league that you know that got more than one good corner? That there's a easy way to disregard all that, to not worry about that. Anybody want to take a guess on how you not worried about if your corners go down?
What is that?
We worry about the wrong thing. The cornerback play in the NFL ain't great anyway. The cornerback play in the NFL is not great anyway. Why? Because the rules don't permit. So I'm not worried about the cornerbacks. I'm worried about getting after the quarterback. Forcing the quarterback to make bad reads. Stopping the run. That's what you need to be. This is exactly what we need to be worried about. We worried about cornerbacks. There's a reason why guys get drafted. A lot of corners don't get drafted like that in the first round anymore. We up here paying $20-30 million for a cornerback, and we worried about cornerbacks, but guess what? We're neglecting the trenches. We're neglecting the defensive tackles. We're neglecting the edge rushers. Because we so worried about getting an interception and we worried about coverage. Coverage don't matter if you can't get after the fucking quarterback. None of that matters if you cannot get consistently, if you can't consistently get pressure, consistently stop the run, and consistently get sacks. None of that matters at corner. If you cannot, and we've seen this for the last 10 years or so with the Atlanta Falcons. We've had some damn good corners. Desmond Trufant, AJ Terrell. Like, we've had some damn good corners. D'Angelo Hall, all these guys. We've had damn good corners. But guess what? We still couldn't get after the damn quarterback. We could not get after the quarterback. So these are the things when you're talking about building a team. If you build a team right, you don't have to worry about that. You can draft a cornerback in the 3rd round to come in, play our scheme, and then focus on that, and focus on, drafting 3-4 guys that can do exactly what he does and replace them. This is exactly what happens if you look at the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens been doing this for years. The Steelers have been doing this for years. The Patriots, they've been doing this for years. They develop guys, but they develop a corner. But most importantly, they always have their defensive front well together. So I'm so not worried about the Atlanta Falcons. We worried about corners. I don't give a flying fuck about our corners. If I can't get after the quarterback, I can't sack the quarterback, I can't affect the quarterback and make him make bad throws, I can give 2 flying figgly fucks about a damn cornerback. Get after the quarterback. This is why the Atlanta Falcons went out and signed so many. They drafted 3-4 defensive linemen, and then they end up bringing in a couple of defensive linemen and retaining a few. Why? It's because we're worried about getting after the quarterback. Take your time, focus on getting after the quarterback, and then we'll worry about coverage later. You worry about coverage when you can actually get after the quarterback. But when you have the media, they want you to believe that everybody has to have a Sauce Gardner on your team. So, like I said, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about the secondary. Neither should you be worried about it. We should be worried about getting after the quarterback. Defensive line, William is your best friend. And I look, I played cornerback too, but if I did look, I'm telling you as a cornerback, because I played 3 positions: quarterback, wide receiver, and cornerback, mainly because I was fast and had very good anticipation skills. That's something that I've always had. So play all 3 of those positions. And the best thing as a cornerback is you can stick on a guy, but having to cover him for 5 seconds, yeah, that's the worst nightmare for any cornerback, is to be able to try to cover somebody for 5 seconds, excuse me. I get you, Jay. Trust me, I get you. Like I said, I love corners myself. I mean, who don't love Prime? Who didn't love D'Angelo Hall coming out? Like, Trufant was my dude. Y'all know I was a huge Isaiah Oliver fan. So, trust me, I love corners. But I'm not worried about corners at all. That's the least of my worries with this Falcons defense. I need our linebackers to play well, and I need our defensive line to play well. Everything in the secondary will take care of itself, because you already have 2 guys in Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell. You got those guys, we ain't got nothing to worry about. We good. Because it allows them to roam and assist someone and get up. Like I said, that's good one. That's absolutely true. Those are the things we should be focused on, is getting after the quarterback, sacking the quarterback, making sure the quarterback is harassed, that he's moved off of his spot. Like, cornerbacks are not going to scare no damn quarterback. Like, cornerbacks is not these days, especially these days, with the rules the way they is, quarterbacks are not scared of corners like that. Because they can run picks. They run a lot of picks, plays, and stuff like that. Look, quarterbacks are not as scared as the fan is. Oh, you got sauce. Easy fix. Don't throw the sauce. You see what I'm saying? Like, sauce don't move me. If I'm an offensive coordinator, I can give two shits about sauce. Because guess what? I'm going to run picks and I'm going to run away from him. I'm going to throw the ball away from him. And I'm going to run the damn ball. I'm not worried about no corner, bro. That's an easy fix for an offensive coordinator. Don't throw it to him. You see it? You see why I'm not worried about a corner? I got AJ Terrell on. Oh, the Falcons got one of the best cover corners in the league. What am I going to do? Well, don't throw it to him. Easy fix. Spread them out. Don't throw it. Spread them out. Wherever AJ Terrell is, go the opposite way. That's an easy fix. That's an easy fix if you can run the ball and you have other wide receivers on the team. Don't throw it to them. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about a corner. It's an easy fix. So don't let this media fool you into thinking that you have to have elite corners or two good corners. You do not. You don't have to have two good corners. What you need and what is essential and what you talk sports, he speaks on it all the time. Richard, he says all the time, build in the trenches. Because if you can stop the run, if you can stop them from running the ball, if you can stop the quarterback for having 4-5 seconds if you can stop them from having X amount of time in the pocket, guess what? You win. But yeah, Jay, I'm confident the linebackers and the D-line going to play well, so I'm focused. Again, you don't have to worry about the DBs. I get what you're saying, but as a football fan, that's the wrong mentality to have. Because the more you start focusing on the corners, guess what? You're going to get more and more frustrated. We've been there. How many times as a Falcon, have we cursed out guys like Jalen Collins, cursed out guys like Robert Alford, cussed out guys like Mike Hughes, cussed out a lot of corners and safeties like a Rico Allen. Like how many times have we cussed these guys out? We cussing these guys out, but the real issue is why aren't we getting to the quarterback? Why aren't we getting sacks? The reason why they were so vulnerable most of the times because we never got a pass rush. So focusing on corners, focusing on the safeties and whatnot is going to lead you into a lot of frustration. Them passes going to be long, not short like this one. So, like I said, OG Sam is about to go on. So head over to Mad Mike Network, OGN TV. He about to go live, and he going to give his perspective on Falcons training camp. A lot more on the defense. I think I have one more that I wanted to share. Do I have it? Yeah, so this is a bit of news out of the NFL also. The Patriots and Jeberaeel Peppers are finalizing a 3-year contract extension with a base value of $24 million, worth up to $30 million per source. To award their best defensive player in 2023. So, like I said, you don't see a lot of corners in the league getting these massive contracts. And then when you do see them, like a Jalen Ramsey, these guys get paid and they end up not being as good or overhyped. What's the corner from Cleveland? Damn, who got that big contract and like we really haven't seen much from him or heard much from him. Like it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Well, corners get all this big money because we think they elite or we think they're good, and then they go to a team that doesn't have a good. They don't have a good pass rusher. They don't have a good front seven, and then these guys fall out, or they get into a new scheme and they fall back. So this happens all the time. So I'm not concerned with this Atlanta Falcons. As long as we get after the quarterback, Grady Jarrett's healthy, David Onyemata is healthy, and we can get those guys through the season without a lot of hiccups, without injuries, our secondary will be fine. That's something that I can promise you, Jay. Our secondary will be fine if we can get consistent pressure on the quarterback and we can stop the run. You won't have to worry about the Falcons' depth. I can promise you that. So, Miss Pam, Auntie Pam, head over to OGN TV, Mad Mike Network. OG Sam is about to go on. Sam, I went on a little bit longer than expected, but it is noon, and high noon madness is about to go down, right? About to go down with OG Sam, right? So head over there. Yeah, I'm ready for the season too, bro. I'm so freaking hyped. Y'all know how I am when it get down. I can talk for hours about this Falcon stuff. But like I said, don't worry about the Falcon corners. The Falcons corners is a lot better than what we expect. Is what we think. Problem is that you don't have a guy, and we don't have guys to get a high number of interceptions. Interceptions is what people think is the end all be all to good corners, and it really is not. So get after the quarterback, affect the quarterback, stop the run. Your corners will succeed, and we see that even with the Philadelphia Eagles. You saw it with the Philadelphia Eagles, and you see it with the Kansas City Chiefs. This is how the Kansas City Chiefs can keep rotating corners every 3 years and trading them and get rid of them, and then they bring in another guy. It's because Chris Jones and those guys up front, George Karlaftis, all those guys up front, man, those guys continue to get pressure on the quarterback. So you get pressure on the quarterback, you don't have to worry about corners. You can get corners in the second and third round. So like I said before, don't worry about the Falcons corner. Worry about the Falcons defensive front. So with that being said, head over to Mad Mike Network, OGN TV. He's about to go live. I'm out of here. Day 2 of Atlanta Falcon training camp, and fuck you, Cartier wristwear with diamonds on them. Tampa Bay is full of shit. I've been busy all summer getting back. Yeah, you're a loser just like them. So head over to I'm just messing with you. Head over to OGN TV, Mad Mike Network. We about to go over there and talk some Falcons football. So with that being said, this has been your boy Mad Mike with another Atlanta Falcons news update, training camp, another edition of Unleash. Your boy Mad Mike is out of here, man. Deuces.